morning and happy new year. Today is day one of the new trading year of 2024. Come check it out. So we are all zeroed out on the account here, starting off with 150K on the TOS account. And then from my E-Trade account, the funds are supposed to come out today. So it should be a flat 100K on the E-Trade account. And that's way more than enough for me. I just don't like running out of buying power. So this gives me that extra cushion so that I don't have to deal with transferring money or waiting for money to settle. And as time goes on, as I get the ball rolling, I can just take out more as I want. All right. Market is about to open, so let's get this started. All right, so let's get into the first live trading for 2024. This is for the first week of the year, and it was a shorter one since Monday the market was closed for New Year's. So we are starting on a Tuesday to kick off this week. My first trade was the NGM, which gapped up over takeover news. Decided to get in half size over the lows over the 1 minute and was looking to go full size over the highs. But instead, it flipped almost immediately, leaving me no choice but to kill the trade. Thankfully, got out in time. Then took it pretty easy this morning, just getting a feel for the market until I came across this breakdown setup on the court, which gapped down because they lost a patent lawsuit. This was one of the bigger gaps this morning that ended up getting bought and now rolled over and set up as a breakdown. It was a pretty tight stop, so I decided to trail some off this drop since the low today was pretty much the final target for me. Wasn't expecting anything beyond that because of where it was at on the larger time frames. And that was all the drop I was able to get out of the court, so I took the back off as well. Then in the afternoon, I pretty much just scalped the Nikola. This was on the carryover list from last week, Friday. Ended up getting a decent drop on the breakdown off the lows to kind of save the afternoon session since not much was going on. So I always take it pretty easy the first day of the trading year. There's always that extra caution to avoid a red day right out of the gate, but also taking the right opportunities if they show up. So just stayed patient, didn't try doing too much, and ended up locking in 3 Rs to start day one. Wednesday, first trade I took was the PCT, which gapped down on a downgrade, basically triggering a sell setup on the daily. Intraday, I took it off the 123 on the 2 minute. Then I had to quickly kill it as it flipped right away, just like that MGM from the open yesterday. I mean, I don't know. Someone definitely out here trying to hurt someone with these pops and drops, but thankfully was able to get out here on time as well. Then EJH was absolutely getting annihilated. I don't know what the news was about, but it was getting halted multiple times and I was looking for a bottom. Now this was definitely more volatile than my liking, but it is part of my trading plan as one of the counter trend plays. So as it reopened on volume, got some over the 1 minute to fade the move, and it got halted right away to the upside. Was hoping for a pop as it reopened, but unfortunately it ended up opening flat, rolled over and took out my stop, which was the low of the day. Then I scalped a few penny stocks. FFIE was breaking down on the 5 minute. Couldn't really get filled on this one and didn't move much anyway. By the way, that EJH was a shakeout and it did end up working. This was the move I was initially looking for. And then in the afternoon, Nikola was leaning over again off the sell setup on the daily. Got in it short as it was breaking down on the intraday. Ended up following through, making a little over an R. But slow day overall. Just wish the EJH worked out the first time, but still up about an R on the day. Thursday, Nikola was gapping up a bit today. Has also been on the carryover list all week, and I quickly scalped it short as it broke down off the 1 minute to fade the gap. Then tried the LFMD short off the sell setup on the 2 minute, but didn't get filled on my orders. It was on an uptick. Then I saw the OPK. This gapped down on a notes offering, so I wasn't sure if this was going to move much today. But once I saw it sold off at the open and based at the lows for a breakdown on the 5 minute, I decided to try it short. Little difficult to get filled on, but was able to get some on E-Trade. Added to it as it gave another base here on the 5 minute and reduced my stop. By the way, I just noticed that LFMD ended up being a home run. Now back to the OPK, I added to it again as it formed another base breakdown on the 15 minute now. At this point, I ran out of buying power on E-Trade and had to add to it on my TOS account. Ended up following through really well, but took it a bit too early because it did end up continuing lower for another, 7 to 8 cents or so, which would have been a massive play for me because I added to it on multiple entries. And yes, I did try to get back in as it continued lower, but just couldn't get filled a single share. But at least I was able to catch a good chunk of the move here. Don't remember the last time I had clean follow through like this trade did. Well, I guess aside from that LFMD I didn't get filled on. So that trade pretty much all I focused on today. The trade ended up taking all day. So between the two accounts, it made like 16 Rs. And along with the NKLA, and which I got some of that LFMD, but that puts me up about 9K on the day. Which if you saw my 2023 recap video, that means I just beat out the best day I had last year, which was only like 6,500 or so. So not a bad way to kick off the first week of the new year. Then finally Friday, my first trade was the MPW, which gapped down on news about issues with recovering uncollected rents. Setup here was off the 2-minute low high, got in it short, ended up trailing to the offer on this last drop, putting me up about an hour and a half to start the day. Then of course I had the OPK on the carryover list, and I noticed it was leaning over on the intraday again, so decided to short it and ended up getting a quick drop on it for just a scalp. Then I got in some Allo short, which gapped down because they announced a strategy shift in their company, had a sell setup on the 2-minute, and immediately failed. I actually didn't have a hard stop in place on this one, so just decided to trail over the 1-minute bars high since I was a tad bit undersized. Thankfully, ended up coming back down some, and I just trailed to the offer for a tiny loss. Then I got involved in this APLT short on another sell setup off the 2-minute. This one gapped down on drug trial news, was on an uptick, so got partially filled. Ended up getting to target and trailed off the 5-minute bars. Then the afternoon went dead. All I did was go back and forth on some scalps on the MPW that didn't really get me anywhere. So not much progress, took it easy and locked it in for the week. So not a bad way to start the first week of the year. And I think I got pretty close to beating out the best week also, given that this one was a shorter week. I think 16K was my best week last year. So hoping to gain some momentum off of this. Earnings season is also coming up, so it should get busy. And yeah, 1 week down, 51 more to go. As always, I appreciate you for being here, and I hope to see you on the next one.